After a giant hotfix this week, we got a big old news dump today, and Thrones of Tides of Torment. That's it. Tides of Torment is delayed, which, to be honest, anybody surprised by that news probably hasn't been paying close attention to the happenings of the last little while, considering we'd seen like some very basic previews, but hadn't really seen much more than that. Up until now, to me at least, it seemed pretty clear that it was going to be delayed into the later part of the year. In fact, when they originally said they had a summer release window, I was like, oh yeah, okay. So summer release windows, which is like November, right? And I'm probably thinking it'll be late fall when Tides of Thrones releases, yes. Anyway, that being said, we are going to see another patch in August, which should give some quality of life updates to, at least in the campaign, to Tomb Kings, and what was the other one? I actually forget now. Anyway, was it Lizardmen? Those are two factions which in campaign definitely need some love. I don't know if that will entail, more units like maybe we've seen in other mid-patches. It's definitely possible. It would be cool to maybe see some more units for them. They did also hint at a couple more things, and sorry to kind of delay the battle, but just wanted to kind of get the news out of the way quick before we get to this replay from Scarbrand, but yeah, there was, some talk of some smaller DLCs with some, like, individual lords or heroes, maybe. I'm guessing these will be more like almost microtransaction price. It's a way for them to add some characters who are missing, who don't really fit into the context of a larger DLC. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. I think they hinted at someone, basically it's Neferata is what I got from that hint. It was something to do with, like, blood or, I don't know, something like that. But yeah, there's definitely quite a few vampire counts, lords, that would be good candidates, I think, for that kind of a pack, a little microtransaction, for lack of a better term. They also talked about the next biggest, bestest DLC, which should be coming sometime next year. I'm pretty sure... this is not any inside information, pure speculation on my part, but I'm pretty sure that's actually going to be Nagash DLC with some stuff for like vampire counts, vampire coasts. Could be wrong on that. Maybe it'll be something else. Maybe it'll be like End Times or something, but nonetheless, keep things rolling here as we watch this end of time. As, Arbol, who got a nice little cost reduction in the last patch, going to be taken here along with some, Scar Bloodwrath. He's got a Blood Reaper here. Marauders up front, second line of Chosen with some Chaos Knights with Lances. Now cost the same as regular Chaos Knights, so they're a little bit more cost effective. Throwing Axes as well in the back. And then for his opponent here, we've got Count Noctilus on the ground, some Rotting Promethean Regiment down, the Lamprey's Revenge as always. Animated Hulks as well for some more mass here. We've got some guns, bombs, mixed some halberds and a single cannon, which has been shelling these Chosen as they advance. Chosen of Khorne, heavy shielded Chosen, definitely pretty solid. Very, very good units when they can get some armor sundering, which of course they do get once they're with Scar Bloodwrath fighting alongside him. Not that there's a ton of armor you got to worry about against Vampire Coast typically, outside of a few key units like these Lamprey's Revenge here. But let's see how things play out. The bombs also are going to struggle against the heavy armor of the Chosen. So as long as they're not getting gunned down too hard by the actual handguns, they should be just fine here. Chaos Knights with lances as well. In the past, these guys' animations hasn't 100% worked correctly, I think, but I don't know when it was. But they are definitely working correctly now. They were fixed at some points, but just a minor cost reduction too does make them a little bit more cost effective against different types of units. But let's see here. Oof. Get some spawn being summoned here. And Arbol bringing his spawn summon in. They're going to take a ton of damage initially from the overwatch of the handguns and so forth here, but they do get into combat, manage to bog down a big blob. Spawn also got a buff. They got more charge bonus and some other stuff in the most recent patch. Not that I think you'll see them super often, but especially as a summon, they're decent. Most summons got timer increases as well. I should say summons are more expensive units, like the Graveguard summon and so forth. I don't know. I'm assuming that the spawn summons also got that same buff, but Knight's going to charge in. They're taking some heat against the armor piercing of the polearms and the rotting, animated hulks. Very cost ineffective trade for them. They are wisely going to pull out of that engagement, try and rear charge some zombies and crush them. Vampire Coast have always had pretty good anti-cavalry tools, and we do see that continuing here, as the Chaos Knights are mostly combat ineffective at this point, and have only done a little bit of damage, to be honest, but have distracted quite a bit of value from the rest, and yeah, Arbol here being completely undefeated. We shall see. Right now, Khorne is just struggling to try and finish off the rest of these missile units here, kind of protect their win conditions. We've got the Furies moving down, trying to get at that Carronade. The Horsemen and Knights moving around, trying to finish off these tattered handguns, which are basically done. There's pretty much only... Ooh, I was going to say there's one more handgun, but that sort of Khorne drops and just blasts that one. Probably will crumble, given the shock damage there. So, yeah, basically just the one kind of quarter health handgun, more or less, is it. And plenty of Marauders coming back from route as well. The Chosen just doing a great job grinding here. And Arbol himself, of course, is going to continue fighting as he is undefeated. He's got his Blood Reaper in here, Scar. I mean, the three of them can kind of just, almost like a dwarf single entity box, just kind of form up and cut through swaths of units. But let's see how it goes here. The Carronade is still alive, critically, shelling some cavalry here. But all the cavalry units for Khorne are also still alive. You can see these horsemen kind of maneuvering around, looking for an angle, trying to outmaneuver those slow zombies. They pull them just far enough away, move up and around, and collapse. Carronade crew, hapless zombie gunners, just getting clobbered on the charge there by the powerful dual axes of Khorne, little throwing axes on the way out, and they tear out from the Morghuls. Yes, life of a marauder. Anyway, yeah, let's see what these knights are up to. Getting close as they rear charge the rotting Prometheans. Ooh, this is a nice little armor sundering get too, actually. The synergy with the Chaos Knights, right, with their high weapon damage, high charge. Tear a little bit of armor off that Lamprey's Revenge. Scar just allows them to get that much more efficient damage for their kind of final stand there. Relentless Rage, very nice. Unyielding Assault, yeah, Unbreakable, cannot die. So all their unit models remain on the charge until the very bitter end, and then they're all going to rout at the same time. But yeah, they actually managed to pretty much finish off those rotting Prometheans. So a nice use of some different ability synergy there to allow those Chaos Knights to come in and get a respectable performance. They just still didn't pay for themselves, but, you know, that nice little tactical charge there, up to break a key unit. But now Scar, alongside the Chosen, relatively safe from threats. The one thing here for Khorne, their single entities are spread out, which is not ideal. Blood Reaper here is trying to duel... excuse me, trying to duel Noctilus, but is getting circle beaten by animated hooks, so definitely not a fair fight there. But Scar moving in, trying to even things out, maybe try and cut through a few of these animated hulks. Same thing with Arbol. He's like slaying them individually. And he's a pretty big boy. I mean, obviously they're monstrous infantry, but yeah, all the Khorne characters on foot are understandably quite hefty lads. Here come the zombie pirates, going to continue to saturate. Blob engagement here. This will take some time, but ooh, this is bad. Blood Reaper's going down. Noctilus manages to finish him off with the assistance of his minions. Those animated hulks doing a nice job, but Scar is a different beast for sure. He's also exhausted right now, so I mean, as long as him and Arbol are fighting together, they should do fine, but Vampire Coast actually is struggling to deal effective damage to them. I mean, 55 melee defense on Arbol. He's still got 90 armor as well, even being exhausted. Scar is definitely a little bit squishier here, but yeah, we still got a handful more Marauders as well. Chosen are pretty much all routed off, but somehow that Carronade's still online, shelling the Marauder Horseman in the distance there. But let's see, we'll continue to fast forward as Noctilus tries to defend his cannons. Scarbrand wisely takes Scar and Arbol towards the cannon to try and just force an engagement here. And does manage to force a bunch of units to come into contact. Continue fast forwarding as they grind it out. Yeah, Khorne, unfortunately, suffers from a ranged line of sight issue and kind of walks into the melee engagement somewhat, but actually is able to continue firing. Kind of? No? Yeah, they are technically still online. They managed to rout those Marauder Horsemen. Oh, but Noctilus, I didn't even see it there. Noctilus catches a few big hits, walks over to those Chosen, and then just gets circle beaten to death. Wow. Wow. That turned around in a big hurry. I mean, it is Arbol and Scar. They didn't have that much HP left. They maybe could have got ground down over time, but pretty much all the power units for Vampire Coast were gone. That being said, ended up being very close. Yeah, I mean, the cannon, 1100 value, did a great job staying online, firing the whole game. It's very cost-effective when that can happen. Noctilus also does a pretty decent job on foot. He's not too expensive, so probably pays for himself in terms of damage, plus all the summons and everything else. So yeah, one handgun also gets some respectable value as well. And then, yeah, on Scarbrand's side, Arbol, just an absolute beast, carrying 3,500 damage dealt, 188 kills, 2,756 value, considering he's just a footlord, essentially, in this build. That is quite impressive. 15,000 damage dealt as well for Scar, like almost 1,800 value there. One Chosen, 299 kills, but barely any value, just cutting through swaths of zombies. But it's to be expected, you know, some leadership damage, and Undead player did quit out a little bit early, so you are losing a little bit of value there. But yeah, the Crumbling will rob some of these units of some of their damage value there, otherwise would have gotten. But that's it for today. Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that little bit of news, plus a replay. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.